He's the web-slinging vigilante of justice. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be exploring 10 pieces of trivia you should know about
Spider-Man!
My name's the Human Spider.
I don't care, get out there.
No, he got my name wrong.
Get out there, you moron!
the cure for arachnophobia, cash. Kicking off our trivia list is a juicy tidbit that reveals Spidey's 1962 debut was almost derailed by Marvel's publisher Martin Goodman. Goodman thought Stan Lee's and Steve Ditko's spider-based superhero concept would never sell. His reasoning? Everyone hates spiders. Boy, did he change his tune when the sales numbers came in.
Sold out? Every copy. Tomorrow morning, Spider-Man, page 1 with a decent picture this time.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Spider. Much of Spider-Man's appeal comes from his combo of superhero stories with everyday problems. Teens can relate to Spidey's feelings of inadequacy and shyness, the idea of having to earn money, getting dates, plus finding time for schoolwork. Before him, teen characters were stuck assisting the adult superheroes in short shorts.
The Green Goblin's greatest foe, a mere boy? Impossible!
A true Maverick never conforms to the norm. Spider-Man actually breaks all the established comic rules. He isn't rich, has no lair, uses his powers to earn money, and is motivated by guilt rather than revenge or the idea of serving a higher purpose. Plus, the folks he helps usually turn against him.
I swear on my father's grave, Spider-Man will pay.
So, unlike Batman, the only special signal Spider-Man ever sees is his own signature flashlight, which he uses to warn the criminals he's keeping an eye on. Animated censorship. Spider-Man is well known for his unique fighting style, but in the 1994 animated series, our hero only threw 3 punches.
Down, Goblin! Even if it means I go with you!
Curious why Spidey preferred to just shoot his web? The answer is simple. Fox Television enforced strict censorship against violence, though they couldn't block all of his blows.
What?
Costly costume. Even though Peter Parker sews his own Spidey costume in Sam Raimi's film trilogy, the actual props cost more than Parker could make in a year. Actually, make that a few years. They cost $100,000 a piece. 4 of these pricey props were stolen from the set, so Columbia Pictures responded with a hefty $25,000 reward for their safe return.
Give you $50.
But it didn't work. The costumes remain missing.
I could get more than that on eBay.
We're guessing some diehard fan is wearing them in his parents' basement right now.
Cool Spidey outfit.
Maguire Hole. Loving that expensive costume? Well, get this.
It rides up in the crotch a little bit, too.
Despite the enormous cost, Tobey Maguire insisted on being able to use the washroom without taking off his suit and going through the tedious refitting process.
I know what it feels like.
This meant adding a vent in the rear.
Crap, mega crap.
Hey, costume thief, if you've used the Maguire Hole, you should probably just keep it. Baptism by Fire. 2012's Amazing Spider-Man is a do-over for the franchise, though it was filmed on the same Universal Studios Hollywood backlot as the original trilogy. However, in 2008, the lot was rebuilt between the 2 series after it burned to the ground. Pretty symbolic, wouldn't you say? Artificial web shooter. In 2012's Amazing Spider-Man, like in the comics, our hero uses a custom-built web shooter to fire a special synthetic polymer adhesive. Sam Raimi's films changed this by giving Spidey the innate power to shoot web. Turns out the director didn't think audiences would buy the idea that a teen could engineer such a high-tech piece of equipment. Spidey's artificial web shooter can only discharge when a sensor is pressed with superhuman force using his 2 center fingers. This not only stops him from firing when he is making a fist, it also stays true to Spidey's oddball sense of humor, as it resembles the American Sign Language phrase, "I love you." The tragic catch. In 1973, comedy writer Jerry Conway and his editorial team shook things up by killing Peter Parker's girlfriend, Gwen Stacy. They felt the character had grown stale, and Spidey needed the tragic hero edge. Of course, comics are kind of like soap operas. No one ever really dies. The Jackal eventually brought Gwen back as a clone. The Clone Wars. After the successful Clone Saga, Marvel Comics created a second such story in which Peter found out he was a copy of the real Spider-Man, and the real Spidey was in fact Ben Reilly. Well, they can't all be winning ideas. Fans were pissed to find out they had read about a fake, and boycotted Marvel.
This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot. It gets worse.
The comic book makers decided to give Pete his identity back, and made clear he was the real Spider-Man via an elaborate ploy by the Green Goblin. Today, this remains the most hated story in its comic history. What's your favorite piece of Spider-Man trivia? For more entertaining trivia lists, be sure to visit us at WatchMojo.com.
I'm going. I'll be here when you get back. Not coming back, Chief.